In the endless dark of space, more than 4 billion kilometers from the Sun, a planet shrouded in sapphire storms and eternal twilight spins alone. This is Neptune, the farthest known planet in our solar system, a world of mystery, a frozen giant on the edge of our cosmic frontier. For centuries it was just a dim blue dot in our telescopes, a whisper of methane and ice. Even when the Voyager 2 probe flew by in 1989, it only gave us fleeting glimpses of its secrets. For over 30 years since, our understanding of Neptune barely changed. It remained a beautiful enigma, waiting for a new set of eyes to gaze upon it. And then the James Webb Space Telescope arrived. When Webb launched in December 2021, we were promised more than just a telescope. We were promised a time machine, a window into cosmic creation. With its golden hexagonal mirrors unfolding like a celestial flower, Webb became our most powerful tool for uncovering the universe's deepest truths. It was designed to peer back in time, to capture the faint light of galaxies born billions of years ago. But Webb's gaze wasn't just fixed on the distant cosmos. Among its early targets were our familiar neighbors, including Jupiter, Saturn, and surprisingly, Neptune. Scientists wanted to see what Neptune looked like through Webb's unique infrared eyes, which can see light invisible to humans. They expected new data, sure, but nothing could have prepared them for what the telescope revealed. In September 2022, NASA quietly released the first infrared images of Neptune from Webb. What we saw was unlike anything before. The planet, usually a deep blue marble, now glowed with a haunting silver-white light. Its rings, long thought too faint to see clearly from Earth, appeared suddenly bright, sharp, and perfectly defined. Webb had sliced through Neptune's dense haze, revealing not just the structure of its rings but also strange patterns in its upper atmosphere. It was the most detailed image of Neptune in over 30 years, but with that clarity came confusion. At first, scientists were ecstatic. Webb confirmed the existence of several faint rings hinted at by Voyager 2, thin, narrow arcs of dust and rock orbiting like ghostly halos. But there was something else. A strange brightness in one section of the ring system, a concentration of light that didn't fit our understanding of physics. The team initially thought it might be a background galaxy caught in the shot, but follow-up analysis showed the anomaly was moving, perfectly synchronized with Neptune's orbit. It wasn't background noise. It was part of the Neptune system itself. NASA publicly called it an unexpected concentration of particulate reflection, behind closed doors. It was described as a structured anomaly in the following weeks. Data from Webb's spectrometer showed a repeating pattern in the reflectivity of that section of the ring. It wasn't random. It repeated every 12.6 hours, exactly half of Neptune's day. Something was pulsing in perfect sync with the planet itself. To the public, the images looked beautiful, serene even. To the scientific community, they were deeply unsettling. When astronomers magnified the high-resolution raw data from Webb's ring images, they saw a geometric symmetry hidden in the noise, almost like a hexagonal pattern embedded in the dust. It wasn't clear enough to claim it was a structure, but the geometry was statistically improbable. In the cosmos, random chaos is the rule. Perfect geometry is rare. And yet, the more they cleaned the data, the more it looked like the ring's inner edge followed a repeated angular pattern. The anomaly was first dismissed as a processing error, a trick of the pixels. But Webb's instruments are too precise for that kind of coincidence. Cross-analysis from different instruments showed the same symmetry appearing independently. That's when the whispers began. The scientific team, operating under strict NASA protocols, held closed-door sessions to interpret the findings. One internal document, later leaked to a European astronomy journal, described it as a recurring luminous formation inconsistent with natural particulate dispersion. Another simply called it the pattern. Around the same time, attention turned to Neptune's largest moon, Triton. Webb's instruments captured it glowing brighter than Neptune itself, because Triton's surface of frozen nitrogen reflects sunlight like a mirror. But in infrared, Triton revealed something eerie, a heat signature that pulsed faintly every few hours, seemingly in correlation with the strange reflections in Neptune's inner ring. This synchronization baffled scientists. Neptune's magnetic field is chaotic and unpredictable. Nothing orbiting it should show such precise rhythmic behavior. Unless, of course, the rhythm wasn't natural. The Webb team double-checked everything. Calibration, light leakage, software noise. They even looked at Voyager 2's old data. Nothing explained it. Whatever the anomaly was, it was unique to Neptune and only visible with Webb's incredible sensitivity. As days turned into weeks, more data trickled in, painting a picture that defied logic. The inner ring wasn't static, it fluctuated. Tiny ripples of brightness traveled along its circumference, like waves on a circular sea. These oscillations followed a perfect mathematical ratio, nearly identical to the Fibonacci sequence. No natural ring system, not Saturn's, not Uranus's, had ever displayed such organized wave patterns. The implications were staggering. Some researchers began to wonder if they were witnessing the footprint of something ancient, perhaps a gravitational artifact left by a long-lost moon. Others began entertaining ideas they couldn't voice publicly. The shape, the harmony, the repeating intervals, they all hinted at design. But design by what or whom? In science, the line between pattern recognition and imagination is razor thin, and no one wanted to be the one to cross it. NASA's public statements grew cautious. The official language shifted from excitement to restraint, describing the data as in need of further analysis, yet behind this veil of caution, independent researchers were already digging through the raw files. They confirmed the brightness fluctuation and even suggested a faint object, maybe a cluster, was orbiting within the inner ring, invisible in optical light but present in infrared. Its movement, though subtle, didn't match any known moon or debris. The object's orbit appeared perfectly, unnaturally circular. Then came the sound. Webb doesn't record sound as we know it, but its data can be converted into audio frequencies. When researchers translated the ring's reflectivity data into sound waves, they heard something both haunting and beautiful, a low, rhythmic hum that pulsed with mathematical precision. Every 12.6 hours, a deep resonance echoed through the dataset like a slow cosmic heartbeat. It wasn't noise, it was order. Around this time, a small group of astrophysicists proposed an extraordinary hypothesis. What if Neptune's inner ring wasn't just debris, but the remains of, or perhaps the shell of, something artificial? A structure built to orbit Neptune, camouflaged under ice and dust, now slowly revealing itself in infrared light. The theory was immediately dismissed as pseudoscience, but privately the question lingered. Could a civilization, ancient beyond our comprehension, have once used Neptune's orbit as a kind of energy reservoir, a machine feeding off the planet's magnetic field? James Webb wasn't designed to look for alien technology, yet its discoveries keep forcing us to confront that possibility. We had seen strange stars flicker with unnatural patterns before, but those were distant and debatable. This was in our own solar system. If true, it would rewrite everything we know about our place in the cosmos. Still, NASA remained silent. Publicly, the anomaly vanished into a sea of technical updates and deep-field images. But a few independent analysts continued to study the archived Webb files. They found something even more unsettling. The anomaly wasn't fixed in place. It was drifting, slowly. Over several months, the bright formation seemed to move by tiny degrees along the ring's edge, a migration impossible for static debris. The motion didn't align with any known gravitational models. It was as if the object, or whatever it was adjusting its position intentionally. Independent astronomers started looking at this Neptune anomaly and thinking, wait a minute, this looks a lot like what futurists have been talking about for years. They imagined giant structures orbiting planets, harvesting energy, kind of like a mini Dyson swarm built for a gas giant. When they ran the numbers, the correlations were shocking. The bright spots in the ring followed a perfect logarithmic pattern, like energy collectors placed for maximum efficiency. Some even noticed that the way it pulsed was in sync with Neptune's own rotation, almost like it was designed to be one with the planet. This wasn't just wild guessing. These patterns were showing up in the raw infrared data, and they were too precise to be a coincidence. At this point, the anomaly became an obsession for a small but dedicated online community. Amateur astronomers and data nerds swarmed forums, picking apart every image the Webb telescope released. They found faint shadows and reflective spots that seemed to move with Neptune's magnetic field. Some thought they could be windows or conduits for energy flow, while others swore they looked like docking ports for ships we can't even imagine. While the mainstream news ignored it, this became a quiet obsession for those brave enough to consider that something truly alien might be right here in our own solar system. Even inside NASA, things were getting tense. Officially, scientists were cautious, talking about sensor errors or cosmic rays, but behind the scenes, the mood was different. Unofficial memos hinted at real unease. The data was solid, repeatable, and nothing could explain it. An email that got passed around among a few top astrophysicists said it all. If we re-seeing this correctly, Neptune is hosting something constructed. It was unsigned, never meant to see the light of day, but it showed the tension brewing between strict science and the mind-blowing implications of what they were seeing. And then there was Triton, Neptune's biggest moon. Webb's infrared cameras picked up strange thermal hotspots on its icy surface, arranged in a pattern that mirrored the ring anomaly. Were these just natural ice volcanoes, or were they connected to the mystery in the rings? Some scientists, speaking off the record, proposed a wild idea. If there was an artificial structure in Neptune's orbit, maybe Triton was acting as a counterweight or even a monitoring station engineered long ago to work with the megastructure. This was a radical thought, almost heresy in the conservative world of planetary science. Outside of the official channels, whispers turned into full-blown conspiracy theories. Supposedly leaked NASA documents suggested that Webb had found even more Anomaly's subtle wobbles in Neptune-esque gravity that did unmatch any known models. These unverified reports just added fuel to the fire, suggesting that whatever was in Neptune's orbit might be active, maybe even intelligent. Some researchers started using code names like the Lattice or the Watcher to talk about it. They were nervous, knowing that publicly acknowledging a potential alien artifact in our backyard could cause mass panic or make them a laughingstock. As more people looked at the data, a clear picture started to emerge. The rhythmic pulses, the perfect geometry, the faint energy bursts, it all pointed to a design built for one thing: collecting and distributing energy. The ice in the rings might not just be reflecting light. It could be part of a massive energy transfer system, a conductor for heat or magnetic fields. The fact that it was perfectly synced with Neptune's rotation suggested an intelligence capable of planning and building on a planetary scale. It was like the whole system, planet, moon, and this invisible structure was one big machine, its original purpose lost to time, but its echoes still resonating with incredible precision. This led to even bigger questions. Could this have been built millions or even billions of years ago by a civilization so advanced we can't comprehend their technology? Was it a relic left behind by a species that once colonized our outer solar system and then vanished? Or, the most unsettling thought of all, was it still active, silently gathering energy, watching and waiting? Imagination was running wild, but the data was undeniable. Something real was out there, hidden in plain sight, finally revealed by Webb's powerful eye. Publicly, the story was kept quiet. The images NASA released were beautiful but carefully edited. They highlighted Neptune's swirling storms and vibrant blue colors, but the strange patterns in the rings were cropped out or left in the shadows. The average person had no idea what was being discovered. But in the scientific community, curiosity was mixed with fear. Fear of being ridiculed, fear of starting global conflicts, or fear of panicking a world not ready to face evidence of alien engineering right next door. The anomaly became a quiet obsession, a riddle challenging everything we thought we knew about physics, astronomy, and ourselves. The deeper the analysts dug, the weirder it got. They noticed that the anomaly wasn't just pulsing randomly. It was emitting low-level infrared signals and rhythms that looked like mathematical constant sequences that mimicked pi, the golden ratio, and other fundamental numbers. Skeptics called it a coincidence, but others argued that the odds of so many mathematical constants showing up in one place by chance were practically zero. The chilling implication was that some intelligence had left a signature, a cosmic breadcrumb, right in Neptune's rings. Naturally, everyone started asking, why? If this is an alien megastructure, why Neptune? It's far from the sun, incredibly cold and isolated, but it also offers stability, a huge magnetic field, and seclusion. Maybe the structure is a planetary energy harvester, pulling power from Neptune's magnetosphere to send across the stars. Or maybe it's a giant listening post, silently observing the inner solar system. A few dared to suggest an even stranger idea. What if the structure was designed to activate only when a nearby civilization reached a certain level of technology? What if our ability to see it with Webb was the trigger? Leaked conversations from small astronomy conferences revealed just how uneasy scientists were. They debated whether they should even release the full data. How much should the world know about something that could shatter our entire understanding of our place in the universe? They worried about panic, but they also worried about what would happen if someone tried to reach the structure. Did it have defenses? Could messing with it trigger something terrible? It was the classic human reaction to the unknown, a mix of awe, fear, and denial. Meanwhile, Webb kept watching. Each month, the observations showed tiny but consistent changes. The bright spots would shift ever so slightly, the pulse frequency would change, and temporary heat spikes would appear. The evidence was piling up. This wasn't just space junk. It was an active structure operating by its own rules, maybe even thinking in a way we can't comprehend. The slightest hint of purpose in the silence of space is enough to drive obsession, and this was far more than a hint. In the final months of observation, they found the most baffling piece of the puzzle. By layering Webb's images and using advanced analysis, researchers saw patterns that looked like circuits or pathways within the anomaly. The ice and dust particles were aligned in a way that suggested they were conducting energy, amplifying, and redirecting radiation. It was like a planet-sized antenna or data transmitter, with Neptune as the power source and the ring as the medium. If that was true, it meant we were dealing with an intelligence that had mastered planetary physics on a scale we can't even begin to grasp. By the end, one truth was clear. Humanity had stumbled upon something unprecedented. Whether it was the skeleton of a dead alien civilization, a working megastructure, or a natural wonder so bizarre it defied physics, Neptune was holding a secret the solar system had kept for eons. The James Webb Space Telescope had pierced through the darkness to show us that the universe holds mysteries much closer to home than we ever imagined. As scientists and dreamers stared at the glowing lattice in Neptune's rings, one question hung in the silence of space. Were we the observers, or were we being observed? The final images from Webb are haunting. Neptune, serene and majestic, its inner ring pulsing with perfect geometry, and Triton, its silent guardian, reflecting the faint light of a distant sun. Somewhere in that icy, elegant dance, a hidden pattern whispers of intelligence, of purpose, of a universe older and stranger than we can fathom. We don't have the final answer, but the revelation is profound. In the cold, distant reaches of our own solar system, the evidence suggests we are not alone. And so the mystery continues. Neptune, once a silent giant, has become the stage for the biggest questions we can ask. The anomaly keeps pulsing in the dark, maybe waiting for us to understand its message, if it even is one. Webb has shown us that in the shadows of our own cosmic neighborhood, something extraordinary has endured. Thanks for watching, and if you want to explore more cosmic mysteries with us, be sure to subscribe.